Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. I'm going to show you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. In my videos, I use both Vedic and traditional Western techniques with tropical astrology, not sidereal astrology. I also use the traditional system of whole sign astrology for my analysis. You can use this video to the best of your advantage by listening to the introduction to understand what the week holds for you, and then going to the timestamps for your sun, moon, and rising sign to get a more personalized forecast for the week ahead. Astrology is not designed to scare you. It's designed to give you information so that you know what the good and the challenging energies in the week ahead will be, and you can therefore consciously work with them to the best of your advantage. Remember, knowledge is power. Now, there are scammers about, and so if you should receive a message from me on any platform requesting your money for a reading, know that it is a scam. Report them immediately. And now settle in and let's see what the astral skies have in store for the week ahead. Hello astrology lovers, so great to be with you for this week's Astro Weather Report. We're looking at the energies from the 3rd to the 10th of August. I want to start off by saying the winner of this month's solar return chart is at Brisay 1844. So the spelling of that is the at symbol BRISAY 1844. If that's you, contact me through the contact form at the Guiding Star Astrology website and let's organize your free solar return report that you've won. If you would like to go into the draw to win a solar return report for the month of August, my friends, all you've got to do is like, share and subscribe. I give one away every month. You've got to be in it to win it, my friends. I've also shared my new moon in Leo report for all signs with my Patreon family, and I'd love you to join me there. You can join for as little as €5 for a month, and that gives you access to 3 different astrology forecasts that you don't get here on YouTube from me, plus gifts and an access to an entire back catalogue of astrology videos, gifts, etc. So what's not to enjoy? Come join me at the Patreon family. Now, my friends, I just want to talk a little bit before we dive into this week's astrology with the Astro Wheel. I'm sure many people by now have heard about the ritualistic elements that were present in the Paris Olympic opening ceremony. So I'm not really going to talk about Da Vinci's Last Supper, except to say that the painting itself depicts the meal with the disciples before Judas Iscariot betrayed Jesus. So it's probably symbolic, as most things in these type of public ceremonies usually are. There's not religious symbolism, it's general esoteric symbolism that they're utilizing. I'm also not going to talk too greatly about the headless Marie Antoinette imagery that they used in the opening ceremony, except to say that referring to the French Revolution is rather ominous, because Pluto is now in Aquarius for the first time since Marie Antoinette lost her head. And the masses, once again on the planet, are increasingly reaching breaking point, just as they were back during the French Revolution. They've had it up to the eyeballs with the elites, just as was the case when Pluto was last in Aquarius during the French Revolution, when Marie Antoinette lost her head. Very dangerous to be referring to that symbology at this time in astrological cycles in my mind. And I'm sure they did that for a reason. There was a ritual behind it. In conclusion, I'm also not going to talk about the sinister rider of the pale horse imagery that was used in this ceremony, although to my mind this was the most dark and confronting element of the Paris opening ceremony ritual. Those who know Revelation 19:11 to 16 will understand that there is much to be concerned about with the purposeful use of that motif. Not from a religious point of view, but from a world point of view and the end of an age point of view. So because of all of this, and because I love you, my viewers, and I care about the planet and the people on this planet who are good, pure-hearted souls in a world that is filled with a battle for good and evil, let's say. So in what I hope is the spirit of a spiritual warrior who wants to see equality, harmony, and balance return to this planet, I've created a free protection ritual for you and for anybody who would like to do one in response to that Paris opening ceremony ritual that was conducted against humanity. It's available for free, as I said, as a downloadable PDF on my website. Just go to the landing page, scroll down, it's right there. My prayer is that this ritual will protect you from the intent behind the Paris Olympic opening ceremony and any other energetic attacks upon you, my beloved Guiding Star Astrology followers. It's my free gift to you. If you would like to utilize it, please do. If you're not interested, that's fine, but it's there if you feel that it's of benefit and it's needed. By all means, head to the website and utilize the free downloadable protection ritual. And so now we're going to jump with the magic of editing to this week's Astro Weather Report and the energies that are playing out. And away we go. So for the first energy up this week is the new moon at 12 degrees of Leo down here. This is happening on the 4th of August. Now the moon becomes dark for the 3 days when it is new. It's a time when it's lost in the glare of the sun. So it's a time for becoming introspective and weighing up our Leonian world. So this means assessing how we feel, perhaps about being in the spotlight, about honoring our creative side, about taking on any leadership positions that might come our way during this new moon energy. Question yourself, my friends, are you fulfilling your heart's desire regarding such opportunities in your life? And if you are not fulfilling your heart's desire with leadership, with being in the spotlight, with honoring your creativity, what can you do to change? Resolve to change it under this new moon in order to bring about a new energy, a new start, and a new beginning. The new moon in Leo might very well be asking you to take time out as well and be a little bit more lazy and relaxed and find joy in life, to find space in your life for good times, affection, warmth and love, to give that to others and to receive it and enjoy the receiving from others as well. It's a beautiful new moon. It's lovely energy. Integrity, justice and solidifying your public image might be the themes in the weeks ahead as a result of the new moon here in the sign of Leo. We're looking for ways to bring more happiness and joy into our life experiences now, so take every opportunity to do so. And if you want to go in depth with what this means for your sign, then head to the Patreon family, sign up and get the lowdown on this wonderful, beautiful Leo new moon. Now, also on the 4th of August, at the time of this new moon, Venus is going to enter into Virgo. So Venus is down here right on the cusp of Leo going into Virgo. Now, this is not a sign where Venus is naturally comfortable. And with Venus here, we can expect more of life's pleasures than we are receiving. So we hunger for more than we're actually getting in reality. That can feel like we're missing out. Our love of beauty takes on a more practical and useful bent. The beautiful things we create, they serve a purpose. They're not just pretty and decorative, they've got to be usable. And we can tend to see life in more practical terms when Venus moves through the sign of Virgo every year. Our matter-of-fact attitude might be just what the doctor ordered, though, because after Venus has done its stint in glamorous Leo, we might need to tidy up the house a little bit, you know. But don't be surprised if we need a bit of hermit time to keep ourselves balanced while Venus is in Virgo. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Venus in Virgo is known also for being a little bit more reserved outwardly, but still sensitive to what others think. So there's this constant drive that a Venus in Virgo energy has to perfect itself and better itself. And we might be sort of subjected to our own drive to do things better, be more beautiful, have things looking on an outward appearance level, Virgo, Venus energy, perfect. So that can be driving you forward this month while Venus is here as well. It's a timely reminder, therefore, to practice self-compassion, to practice self-kindness and self-love, you know. A little self-indulgence now and then is actually a practice for good health. We can't always be, whipping ourselves to be a certain way. Taking time to love and care and nurture ourselves is something that you'll consciously have to do while Venus is in Virgo, because it doesn't necessarily come naturally under this energy. But if you do it, it's good for you. It's good for you. Now, also on the 4th of August, we've got little old Mercury over here turning retrograde, and it's going to be retrograde until the 29th of August. And this little Mercury, little tiny planet, which is very visible in the sky at the moment. If you head out at night, certainly where I live in the world, heading out at night, just on sunset, you'll see Venus looking absolutely spectacular in the sunset haze, glorious Venus, and right above her, Mercury, little faint flickering Mercury. Mercury isn't often visible in the sky, but when he turns retrograde, he's actually out as far as he can get from the sun's rays. So he's more visible now than ever. And so this is quite a special time when you see it in the sunset glow. Absolutely beautiful. Go out and check out Mercury at nighttime. Also, he's retrograding from 4 degrees of Virgo back to 21 degrees of Leo. So if you have planets between 21 Leo to 4 Virgo, you might actually feel this activation of a retrograde Mercury stronger than other people will. Now, I haven't done a particularly Mercury retrograde directed video. I find they actually don't get a lot of traction on YouTube compared to other topics that we explore. Seeing that time is of the essence, I haven't really gone deep into that, but I do have a lot of teaching about Mercury retrograde in my intermediate level of the Royal Stars Academy, and believe me, Mercury retrograde is incredibly powerful. It happens 3 times a year, and this is one of those powerful times. It's a time of rethinking our choices, a time of second thoughts and second chances. So it's the time for revamping anything and everything to do with who we are, and particularly when he's in Leo, our self-expression, where we might be expecting too much of ourselves. It's time to take a rethink on the amount of pressure for perfection we place on our shoulders, and any stress caused in our lives by debt or material inflation. This is a very impertinent retrograde period to address those topics, because it's retrograding through Virgo and then into the self-love sign of Leo. So it's really very, very pertinent to address Mercury well in this current climate we're in on the planet. So Mercury retrograde allows us energetic time and space to research our next big step in life, particularly regarding perhaps any lack or imbalance that we have, any debt, lack of education, lack of health. And it's going to give us a chance to have a fresh start with those things in confidence, and giving us a fresh start with our ability to shine when Mercury is retrograde in Leo. So look, there's so much to say about this retrograde Mercury, because it's just such a powerful, powerful energy. But that's all that we have time for in this particular video, I'm afraid. But we're also going to be having a Mercury conjunction with Venus. As you can see, they're very close, and so they're actually growing closer in the sky. If you go out every night and look at them, you're going to see them each night getting closer and closer and closer in the sky. And they're going to conjunct on the 7th of August this week. So ordinarily, this combination is a time that we should go out and tell somebody that we love them. Mercury to speak, Venus love. We should go and share. Like if you've had the hots for somebody, this would be an energy to go and let them know and ask them out on a date. But should we do that under Mercury retrograde? Probably not, because our communications can go a bit awry and not achieve what we want them to achieve when Mercury is retrograding. What we can do instead, my friends, to utilize this energy to the best of your advantage is to write your feelings out. Write them in a letter or write them in an email. Do something poetic and romantic. Maybe get a beautiful card and write how you feel or something. And just sit tight on that message of endearment until Mercury moves direct on the 29th of August, my friends. And that time of introspection and just waiting and holding your horses regarding love and romance might give your feelings a bit of a chance to solidify or disappear if they weren't meant to be. But you come together using the written word and Venus at the conjunction energy on the 7th of August, and just sit tight on it, wait till the retrograde's over, and then your words of love will generate a response that will be more likely to last and be true. Once Mercury goes direct on the 1st of September. The 30th of August, I should say. So that's one way to utilize this energy to your advantage. communicate love, and it doesn't have to be romantic dating love. It can be, you know, telling your kids you love them, write them a card, do something special, do something sweet for your kids or for your parents or for your best friend or whoever it might happen to be. Use this energy to communicate love. Mercury communicate, Venus love, and give that energy over to them once Mercury goes direct. It will really hit the spot. So finally, in this week's energy focus, and it's an energy that's going to be active not only all week, but also in the days and months ahead. This is a very important, very powerful energy I'm going to talk about this week. And it may actually intensify as the year progresses and we move closer and closer and closer to the Neptune-Saturn conjunction, which will be talked about in future videos by many, many astrologers, not just me. But I feel that we're touching into that energy already because Neptune is at the Gandanta degrees, here we are, Gandanta degrees of Pisces. And here it's in these Gandanta degrees, I think it's at 0 degrees of Aries, they're going to make a conjunction in 2025. Now, Neptune is currently at 29 degrees. That's a Gandanta degree. So is 0 degrees of Aries, a Gandanta degree. So we're already in the Gandanta energy with Neptune, and it's only going to intensify over the next months and so on until the conjunction, till Neptune's back here, she's retrograde at the moment, and the conjunction with Saturn happens at Gandanta degrees. Now I can hear every Western astrology lover out there scratching their head and going, what the hell is Gandanta, Kesenya? Well, it's a Vedic astrology term for certain degrees found at the end of a water sign and the start of a fire sign. And Gandanta is actually representative of a karmic knot. In a personal chart, it's representative of your own personal karmic knot. In this case, we're also looking at a collective communal karmic knot on the planet that needs to be unraveled. So it's either in the personal chart or it's collective. And in the case of what is unfolding with this transit, we're going to be dealing with some very big collective karmic knots that are coming unraveled now with this tremendously important Gandanta area of the chart. It's tremendously important because Pisces is the theoretic final sign, the sign of endings in an astrology chart, and Aries is new beginnings. So this is a powerful time on the planet. As we head into next year's big conjunction, Neptune and Saturn, at these Gandanta degrees, there's going to be a big collective purging of old behaviors, old ideas, old ways of being. Truly, this is the end of a karmic era. There's also going to be a semblance of personal karmic knots that need unraveling at this time too. I've been feeling it all week, which is why I wanted to share about this now with you here in the astrology. Now, just to explain a little more, Vedic astrologers don't actually use Neptune. They don't use the outer planets. They only use the visible planets because, and rightly so, they believe they pertain to life in the body here on Earth. I'll talk a little bit about Neptune in just a second. Just wanted to mention that they're not used by Vedic astrologers, and they work with Gandanta degrees in the sidereal or visible astrology chart, not the tropical chart that we use in Western astrology. But I just want to say, in my observation, my research and my work, I have observed that Gandanta in the tropical chart is every bit as powerful as the sidereal chart, if not more so. I've had so many clients who, I've talked about Gandanta with, and they're like, oh my God, that is so true. So true. So this is my observation. I'm sharing it here. Neptune, as the planet that is triggering this, is a psychological planet. It's a planet of the subconscious. It's a collective influence planet. So we're going to be feeling deep subconscious unraveling of karmic knots now personally, and because Neptune is a planet of the collective, it's a generational planet. It means it corresponds to generations. Is it any wonder that we're also feeling this unraveling of karma in the collective right now? So no wonder that we're feeling such overwhelming energies. Everyone's writing to me saying, Kesenya, what is going on? This is crazy times. It's karmic unraveling, my friends, in the collective and personally for each of us right now. Now, on that topic, Gandanta has been associated with drowning, and this is where I say it is actually pretty much on point with everyone I've seen who's got this in the tropical astrology system. They have either had an actual manifested experience of almost drowning. I'll put my hand up. I've got Gandanta planets in my personal chart, and yes, I've nearly drowned. And so many of my clients have. I've been doing some research on that just this week, actually. Also, it's not just drowning in the literal sense of the word, but it's metaphoric drowning. You feel like you're being swamped by waves of stress or waves of karma coming at you, and you're like, why do I feel this way? I feel like I can't breathe. I feel like I'm suffocating. Sometimes I get this metaphoric effect of drowning as well, and I'm just like puffing and trying to catch my breath, even when I'm standing in the air, and not in water at all. So Gandanta is associated with the feeling of being overwhelmed and swamped, drowning essentially. So I just want to ask you, does anybody out there feel that they are metaphorically drowning at this point in time with what's going on in the world? Is it all too much and you feel like you're just going under? If you answered yes to those questions, this, I believe, is the Gandanta influence of Neptune. Neptune rules the waters. Gandanta is connected to drowning. No wonder we all feel swamped. Now, that said, please don't think that if you have Gandanta planets, oh my God, you're going to drown. No, it can be, all you might experience in life is the metaphoric feeling like you're swamped. Please don't panic, but in people who have experienced that, there is Gandanta planets, nearly always. So what we can do to deal with this, how do we cope with Gandanta? And I'll talk a little bit more about what Gandanta is shortly, because it's not all bad. You're probably thinking, oh my God, Kesenya, this is hell. But no, it's not all bad. Hang in there, I've got more to say. But what we can do about our Gandanta the Gandanta energy that's on the planet right now with Neptune at this point is realize that this is actually, consciously realize this is actually an opportunity for a new start. We're going to untie these karmic knots, and that's going to lead us to a big breakthrough. And that's exactly what happens for us personally when we deal with our karmic knots as well. So this is an untangling process. When you go jogging, this is what the metaphor I like to use for Gandanta. When you tie your sneakers on and you go for a jog or a walk or something, and by the time you get back, the stress on the knot has been so great that the knot is tighter and bound up stronger. So you've got to, in order to get your sneakers off or your shoes off, you've got to pick at the knot. Use your fingernails or get a knife and get in there, and because the knot's so bound up, so tangled up tight, and this is the letting go process, and we need to pick at it, we need to pull at it, we need to wriggle it around and get it out. So it's a time of unraveling, and it's a time also of incredible spiritual progress, personally and collectively. This is something we need to remind ourselves of, especially if times seem particularly dark right now. Gandanta degrees are all about the ending, especially the degree of Pisces that Neptune's at, all about the ending of one cycle of soul growth and the birth into another. Last sign of the zodiac, last degree of the zodiac, Gandanta degree, boom. That's what it's all about. This is powerful. Hang in there, my friends. This is a process we're going through in order to be birthed out the other side into a whole new age, a whole new paradigm. This is actually exciting days if we can just endure and get through. Now, Neptune, what is Neptune all about? Neptune represents issues regarding having been deceived, collectively or personally. Hello. I was watching an old video by a very famous astrologer that they did back in sort of 2016 this week, and she was saying this and she was saying that, and I'm like, oh my God, we've all woken up to the truth since you spoke this. And it was like, far out, that video is so outdated because of the awakening that has happened on the planet to the deception. We've all been deceived, It was just a, like penny drop moment for me this week, watching this old video that had a certain perspective on how the world was working and where we're at now in 2024, realizing, oh my God, that wasn't the case at all. Neptune represents issues with having been deceived, You might have been deceived personally. You might have been deceived collectively. There is a waking up to that will happen with Neptune at Gandanta degrees. You are unraveling the knot of being deceived. Isn't it interesting? Neptune in my rulerships, I have a rulerships resource that I refer to when I want to know what rules what. Neptune rules commonwealths. Deception and commonwealths. Well, there you go. Issues of martyrdom are also ruled by Neptune. Some of you might be unraveling a karmic knot regarding martyrdom. You're always sacrificing yourself and your happiness and your needs for the sake of others. That's your karmic knot to unravel. It might be that your karmic knot is, feeling like you always have to be everybody's savior and help everybody else at your own cost, No, my friends, your karmic knot is needing to learn to put on your own mask first before you put on anyone else's mask. Looking after yourself first before you go saving others. Karmic knot might be always looking for a savior instead of being your own savior. That might be something that you're karmically being required to unravel right now with Neptune at the Gandanta degrees, because being a savior or looking for a savior, looking for someone to come rescue you, is a Neptunian theme. Addictive behavior and escapism. Also Neptunian themes that some of you might be unraveling karmically right now. Having confusion and a lack of clarity about where you're going, what's happening on the planet, life. Lack of clarity is a Neptunian massive theme. So you might be unraveling that karmic knot. Disloyalty is a Neptunian theme. You might be unraveling a karmic knot of someone having been disloyal to you, or you've been disloyal to somebody else. Wearing a mask is a Neptunian theme. You might be unraveling the karmic energy of having been fake, pretending to be something that you're not, just to get by in life, just to, get ahead or whatever. That's a karmic knot that you might now be having to face and unravel. Living in an illusion or fantasy. That's Neptunian themes. It could be your karmic knot that you're unraveling now to deal with that. Dealing with imposters and fake people and charlatans. This could be the karmic knot you're dealing with. Dealing with secrets. Maybe you've kept a secret hidden your whole life long. And now this karmic knot of Neptune at Gandanta degrees is coming unraveled, and you have to deal with that secret or put it out there in some way. Maybe you've been involved in some messy scheme, or somebody's had a secret from you and been involved in a scheme behind your back, and now that's coming to light and you're like, oh my God, that secret, that scheme, Neptune rules secrets, Neptune rules schemes, now coming unraveled in your life, and it's not been your fault. All of these themes that I've just mentioned are what is being brought to the surface to be unraveled now thanks to Neptune at the Gandanta degree of Pisces. We're exploring these themes and topics in the collective, but I'm going to break it down for us all as individuals in a minute as we go through all signs. I'll just conclude this little introductory piece by saying the divine wants us to realize the truth about what it is we want for our lives personally and collectively. It will bring transformation. That's the whole point of this process, that will show us truly who we are and what really it is we want personally and collectively. This time in our history, my friends, as we all know, will revolutionize the world. This is an incredibly important transit. It's only going to get more important as Saturn and Neptune conjunct at Gandanta degrees. It's only going to build, but the karmic unraveling has begun and the truth is being revealed. It's part of the process. So let's look at it now for all signs. Well, I'm actually going to start with a completely different sign. Everybody knows I like to sort of mix it up so that everybody gets a go. And I'm going to start with Libra. So Libra, my friends, Libra, if you are rising sun or moon sign Libra, Neptune is at Gandanta degrees in your 6th house. Neptune does not want structure, it wants flow, and it wants lightness of being. That's how Neptune works. And the 6th house, my Libran friends, is all about routine, grounded structure, and organization. So you might desire to be a productive member of society now. However, you're going to need to be very cruisy with the surprise twists and turns that are happening in life. Neptune here is calling you to flow, not to have structure, organization, and routine necessarily. Be open to the changes that are unfolding now. In your work life, you're going to need more freedom to come and go as you please, Libra, to work in your own unstructured manner, but still competing to get things done. That's part of the process. So, process of living, we have to get out there and do to get by. We have to hustle. But you need to do it in a manner that allows you to flow while Neptune is here. We can clear our confusion or our lack of clarity or our ambivalence while Neptune is at Gandanta degrees here by doing physical exercise, you know, running, dancing, swimming, martial arts, these sorts of things can help sort of, doing exercise. Sixth house is having an exercise routine and a healthy diet and that kind of thing can help us feel better and more grounded so the confusion isn't quite so intense. But I do want to say, remember we talked about Neptune being a planet connected to deception and disloyalty. This is also a house of enemies. Some of you Libran people might be finding out that somebody has been disloyal or deceived you behind your back now. That might be part of the karmic complex to be unraveled. Lack of clarity we've also spoken about, but could be like just not knowing how to deal with your day-to-day life. You know, and I'm Libra Moon. This has been the case. You know, I used to have a very set routine when I was working entirely on my astrology. I got up at this time, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, and that's my structured day. Neptune at Gandanta degrees, I am having to learn, okay, this day I'm going to be at council working on that day, so I've got to get up at this time and this day. My daughter needs to be here to do this, that, and the other, and my son's working late that night, and I have to flow. I don't get a chance to have the structured routine. So there's lack of clarity around how my day and my week is going to flow. And as somebody who likes organization, that's a bit annoying for me, but I have to let it be. This is perhaps my karmic knot to unravel. I'm learning that I don't have to have control of every little minuscule detail of my life. I can just let it flow. That might be my karmic knot. Having to help people, like this is the house of people in disadvantaged situations. And some of you Librans might feel like you've got to, you've got Pisces here in the sixth house. You've got to support and help people. You've got to be charitable. You've got to be a savior. Neptune at Gandanta degrees is saying, that is perhaps not the role for you this lifetime. You don't have to be the savior, or neither should you be waiting for your Prince Charming or your Wonder Woman to come and rescue you either. Get rid of the savior complex. Unravel that karma this lifetime, Librans. Addictions to medications are a sixth house topic. Also, addictions to other, like health practitioners, always going to, your naturopath every other week or something like that, or always seeing the doctor or whatever. Addictions to health practitioners, or, being obsessed with exercise, or, obsessed with veganism or whatever it happens to be, some dietary principle or whatever. Addictions of any sort are unhealthy. There's got to be balance and harmony, not leaning too much one way and not enough another. This is something that might be being unraveled karmically for you now. Unhealthy escapism, and that could look like pornography addiction. We escape into porn, or we're escaping into drugs, or we're escaping into, I don't know, what are some other unhealthy ones? Alcohol and too much alcohol. Unhealthy escapism through addiction, Pisces. This could be the karmic knot that is unraveling here. The sixth house has to do with any imbalances. And Pisces does have connections to addiction. So addiction that comes from escapism. So some of you people might be on the imbalanced side with your escapist addictions, and that might be your karmic knot to unravel. What else can I say here? There might be, Neptune is secrets and schemes, so there might be some secrets and schemes from your work colleagues or in the workplace that you're feeling disadvantaged, or you're feeling not included, or something like that. Can actually be part of the karmic knot that is wanting to be unraveled now as well, Libra. You want inclusion, you want balance, but I'm sorry, the sixth house is not about inclusion and balance for any of us. So there might be something going on behind closed doors in the workplace that needs to be addressed and unraveled and turned around karmically. So that's what I'm seeing in a brief nutshell for Libran people regarding Neptune at Gandanta degrees. What about Scorpio? Scorpio rising, Scorpio sun, or Scorpio moon. I hope everybody's listened to the introduction. Otherwise, this is not going to make much sense. You really do need to understand what I'm talking about here. But Neptune is in the 5th house at Gandanta degrees. The 5th house is all about romance and love and soulmates. So you might have some very romantic sexual or idealistic relational inclinations when Neptune is here at Gandanta degrees. But those things might be coming up now because they've been karmic knots for you in past lives. Maybe you missed out on love. Maybe you missed out on having your sexual ideals fulfilled in a past life. And so the aim of this Neptune at Gandanta degrees is to connect to divine love instead and avoid cynicism and negativity towards romance and love despite the sufferings that you might have endured either in past lives or this life. Don't close your heart to love. Try and learn from mistakes made in romance. Try not to allow your mind to keep living in false illusions. This is the karmic knot for many Scorpios that may need to be unraveled now with this Gandanta degree being activated. You can perhaps also under this influence fall in love with a person's soul and their physical appearance and their sexual appeal, which is a beautiful influence of Neptune at this point. But the Gandanta unraveling needs to happen first. You need to get rid of hang-ups and karma around love for sure. And then you might find that the attraction to a soulmate might happen. And then you might find that there's more Neptunian high quality people in your field, musicians, artists, spiritual people, those sorts of things. Neptune tends to dissolve boundaries, and with this position you need to focus on being very discriminatory towards sexual partners. There can be some serious karma unraveling now with sexual partners, and you may even have a lack of clarity and a lack of discernment here regarding romance and love that can leave you more vulnerable to hurt, abuse, and even, unfortunately, with Neptune at Gandanta disease. So do be careful, my friends. This is where the karmic knot might be the unraveling for you. The karma that you've had in past lives with lovers, and even karma with children can be being unraveled here now. Lack of clarity, disloyalty from children, deception with children and lovers can be really coming to the fore now for you to deal with it and lay it to rest. Finish that stuff. Send it to the light. Turn it over to the divine and say, I'm not dealing with this anymore. I'm done with this behavior pattern repeating in my life. I want the karma gone. This is helping you to do that. We might find with the 5th house that because it's a house of glamour, celebrity and so forth, and Neptune is a planet to do with fakery, wearing a mask and pretension, that might be for some of you Scorpio people, something that needs to be unraveled in your life. Do you pretend? Do you fake it? Are you like putting out there that you're someone that you really aren't? You know, that might actually come up as a karmic knot that needs unraveling over the coming weeks and months. Also, Neptune's about living in an illusion or fantasy land, and the 5th house is a very glamorous area of the chart, and so you might live an illusion that you're this glamorous, wonderful person that you're not really, and that might be coming unraveled right now. I've encountered people in my life who think that they are destined for celebrity, destined for fame, and I take a look at their chart and I'm like, I'm not seeing it in there. Living that Neptune at Gandanta degrees for a Scorpio person can sometimes manifest that way. You've lived in the illusion, the fantasy that you can be the next Kim Kardashian. I mean, who'd want to be, but hey. And it's just not going to happen for you. And that illusion of celebrity, illusion of bigness, if you like, can be being unraveled now. Here we are, Neptune at Gandanta degrees, saying, I'm sorry, but the celebrity thing that you're going for, it's just not real. It's not grounded in reality. Neptune at Gandanta degrees. You can also find that there might be some secrets that your children are keeping from you, or maybe you're keeping a secret from your children, and some scheming behind closed doors from lovers or children as well. And that might be all coming to the surface with Neptune over the coming weeks and months at Gandanta degrees here, and just unraveling all that energy of secrets with children, schemes behind your back by children or to children, and lovers. It's all coming unraveled, and it's something that needs to be addressed in order for you to move forward into the new world that's being born, my friends. So if there's anything I've touched on that really, is triggering you, maybe you need to address that, my beautiful Scorpio friends, in order to be ready for the new life that awaits us all. Thank you, Scorpio. Sagittarius. Sagittarius rising, sun or moon people. Well, the energy of Neptune at Gandanta degrees of Pisces is being felt for you in the 4th house. The 4th house, an angular house, making it very strong, very pronounced, and very, very real. 4th house is actually a very supportive placement for taking action to restore any broken relationships with family or parental figures. So it could be that these family or parental figures are actually where the karmic knot resides, that there needs to be an unraveling of relationship problems there. So do use this energy, and Pisces is a good energy for doing so, to meet with family members, discuss with family members, and try and find solutions and restoration to any karmic knots that exist between you and your family. And you'll need to remember to express compassion to your family without becoming the savior, which is another type of karmic knot here, or an enabler of family problems and issues. It's good to also take some peaceful exercise near water. You'll really feel the benefits during this Gandanta period while Neptune is here. And by that period, I mean this could be weeks or months that we are actually in this zone. So it's good to get into a routine, perhaps of doing yoga by the lake or going for a walk by a river or something like that, if such things are available to you, for sure. Stretching on a beach. These sorts of things are calming and peaceful and meditative, and they're really good therapy. And you'll find that when you do these things that there will be epiphanies come to you, revelations about your karmic knots come to you. This is a very deep house, a moksha house, in fact. Moksha means liberation. So there will be a lot of liberation that you will encounter in moving your body peacefully by water. It's a water house, there's water energy, it's a water sign that's there, Sagittarius. You can be really blessed by engaging in these kinds of meditative, peaceful, calming, water-based practices. You can also undertake some work around your home. In the 4th house energy here says to create more beauty in your domestic space, because your home might be carrying karmic energy. Now, I'm not going to get all like woo-woo and funny on you and saying like, oh, there's ghosts in your house. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. But if you've been in your home for a long period of time, then there's energy that resides there. If you've had an argument in your bedroom and you haven't cleared that energy, then you need to do something to create beauty and bring back the uplifted vibration in that part of your home. You might use a scented candle, Palo Santo, incense, singing bowls, and so forth to restore the vibration. And these are good things that you can do that actually can help unravel any sort of karma in your home. We need to be careful whenever we have Neptune transiting the 4th house in any degree, not just Gandanta degrees, but it's probably amplified a little when we have Neptune at Gandanta degrees, to be careful of water damage, gas leaks, effects to property that have to do with gas or water in some way. We need to be aware of hidden property problems as well. Especially if you're purchasing a home, look at those things. If you're looking to buy a home, certainly I've had some issues. I'm not Sagittarius, but somebody very significant in my family is, and we've had some issues with broken heaters during winter and things like that. So that can be a Neptune at Gandanta. Like Neptune relates to gas. This is a gas heater that's broken. So Neptune at Gandanta degrees can cause that effect. So one thing that you can do if you're having those sorts of issues is direct the energy to something positive Neptunian in your home. So you might have a picture of like some surfing or waves, or if you're into sort of fantasy things, mermaids or something like that, around where the energy will go instead, very Neptunian, instead of going into the things you don't want to have the Neptune effect on, the water problems, the gas problems, and so forth. In fact, if you can hear some rustling in the background, it's because I've got the guys fixing my gas heater here right at the moment. So it's timely. But anyhow, this is an energy of a karmic knot we need to unravel. And so there might be some lack of clarity about where this problem's coming from in your home that you're dealing with, of course. So just deal with it as best you can. That can be part of the unraveling process. Like I said, savior complexes with families, but there can also be some deceptions and disloyalties that come up now that need to be addressed in families. And sort of, if you're conscious of them, if you're aware of them, then you can address it, with grace rather than reactivity, and that will help unravel the karmic complex that you're dealing with so much better, so much easier. If you can all sit down and have a friendly family discussion about an issue that's come up, a hidden secret in the family, or some sort of deception that's been going on, and just address it with consciousness, to help you unravel that karma and let it go in the family dynamic. Obviously other things that we spoke of that have to do with Neptune can be wearing a mask, being fake, like pretending to be always happy around your family because you always got in trouble if you ever showed your anger, that sort of thing. If there's a karmic knot about that kind of thing, it can come undone now, and you might have to address the fact that you're always pretending to be happy in front of mum because she never liked it when you got cranky or unhappy in some way. If you were constantly trying to sort of escape the family home dynamic, maybe your home life was bad, and you turned to alcohol to try and cope, well, then the Neptune at Gandanta energy is saying you actually have to confront these things. I mean, Neptune's not saying that, but if you want to unravel the karmic complex that's there, you have to confront it in a conscious way. Talk about it, not just run and hide in the alcohol, or your gym addiction, so you get out of the house or whatever. You need to actually address things in your domestic life that are out of balance with others in your family, in your home, or even in your community, to make things right, to bring things back into balance. It's very, very necessary. Also, if you are living in some kind of deluded fantasy land about the kind of home that you're going to have, instead of having your feet firmly planted on the ground, maybe based on the income that you earn, you're never going to live in Santa Barbara in some mansion or something like that, and you need to sort of come face to face with reality, because Neptune is fantasies that come crashing down when it's at Gandanta degrees, and there needs to be an unraveling and a facing of realistic circumstances when you have Neptune transiting across Gandanta points, making you address your illusions, address your fantasies regarding home and domestic life and the way things are. Learning to be content in all circumstances, so to speak, learning to be happy no matter what your home life looks like. Maybe you live in a pretty ordinary suburb in central Victoria or something, and learning to be happy with that sort of thing, instead of having to have a mansion in Turak, is, it's acceptance, and acceptance is often the key to being able to navigate Earth life, being stoic about what is, and accepting what you can't change, and learning to find appreciation in those things. So that's another thing that might need to be addressed and unraveled now, expectations, fanciful, idealistic expectations about home that's keeping you from being happy about your home and about where you live in the moment. So that's my insights around Neptune Gandanta in the 4th house. Capricorn rising, Capricorn sun, or Capricorn moon. Let me just keep you from going for a walk there, Capricorn. We've got Neptune at Gandanta degrees in the 5th, no, not in the 5th house. We've got it in the 3rd house. So for our Capricorn friends, this is where we're going to be unraveling some heavy-duty karmic knot. Now, in the good sense of Neptune here in the third house, you might be very inspired to write poetry or creative fantasy stories over the coming weeks and months, even years, as Neptune crosses the Gandanta degrees here. And any writing or thinking that you undertake will be very intuitive, imaginative, and creative right now. There's also a big tendency to daydreaming as well, getting lost with the butterflies in your head. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think going into visions and ideals and dreams knowingly in daydreams or even in night dreams is actually a healthy thing for us to do. So if that's the case, enjoy that and observe what comes up, because there can be some very telling mental stories that come up in your daydreaming that are very revealing about what your heart wants, what your heart desires. And remember, I spoke in the introduction to this piece about how part of the purpose of this Neptune and Gandanta is to understand what it is we really want right now. So here in a house that's very mental, with Neptune and Gandanta, pay attention to where your thought processes go and what they're telling you about your heart's desires. There's a beautiful high level of creative artistry with Neptune at this Gandanta degree energy. So, as I said, you might be creating poetry, but also fine art and music can come to the fore. You'll have a lot of sensitivity to what others are communicating, even unspoken things. You'll pick up on the feelings, you'll pick up on the intent behind the actions, more so even than the words they're using. And in that, there might be some karmic knots, you're perceiving something that's not being said and it's triggering you. It's making you doubt yourself or question things. So one of the ways to address that kind of karmic knot, doubt about who you are in the presence of others, is to address it, is to face reality and to say, hey, I'm getting a sense here that you think X, Y, Z. Could you, expand upon that with me? And address things. Don't shy away. Don't sweep it under the rug. Because the more we do that, the less we're able to unravel that karmic knot, deal with it, and lay it to rest, There'll also be a lot of compassion towards siblings and even neighbours with this Gandanta degree Neptune, and it's good to take action to restore any broken relationships with siblings or neighbours at this time, my beautiful Capricorn friends, because doing so helps to unravel the karmic knot. It deals with the Gandanta energy. So pay attention to that. If there's anything that's not being said, not being dealt with siblings, then address it, think about it, ponder on it, and go take action about it where and when and how you can. Be as honest as possible with your words and your communications, or else we tend to attract back to us any lying or deceit that's dished out when Neptune is like this at the Gandanta degrees. No mixed signals. No mixed signals in love or business deals, no manipulating family, friends for your own gains. This is the realm of the chart that has to do with communication. Neptune. Remember, Neptune is the planet of deceit, deception. And if you don't want to create more of a karmic knot in your life by being deceptive with your words, sending mixed signals to people, being shonky in your dealings. Keep your karma clean. It's imperative while Neptune is at these degrees. So do make sure that you keep everything above board for your own benefit. This is also a house of our business practices, money that we make through our own skills and abilities. Now, if you've been living in an illusion, maybe you've had a small business running for a couple of years now and it's reached a certain threshold, it's not getting any further. But you're living in an illusion that it's going to take off one day, it's going to happen. And meanwhile, your family can't afford to put food on the table because you're pouring all this money into this fantasy business that's going nowhere. I'm just using this as an example. I'm not saying everyone with a business is going nowhere. But you'll know if I'm speaking to you, the universe will prick at your conscience. This could be your Neptunian illusion and fantasy land, and it is actually a karmic knot that you need to unravel and let go of. Time to put your big boy, big girl boots on and face reality about things. If people are suffering because of a business situation, if people are if your life is going down the toilet, maybe it's time to unravel that karmic knot of why you're clinging so hard to that business. Is it pride? Is it that you need to prove something because in a past life you failed and you're determined not to fail business-wise in this lifetime? Where is that deep inner karma coming from? The deep feeling of I can't let this go. And maybe it's time to unravel that, let it go, and make a whole fresh new start, feeling lighter in the world and free of that karmic burden. So that's one thing. Another thing might be that there might be some secrets with siblings or relatives that need to be addressed that are causing a karmic burden in your life. So maybe, when you were 15, Auntie Josie did something or said something, or, something unfolded in the family that really affected you, really hurt you, and you need to address it. You need to sort of bring it into the light, so to speak, and unravel that karma. And stop keeping it a secret, because Neptune is secrets. So secrets like that are damaging and causing this, internal anxiety and karma to build, need to be addressed in order to be resolved. And so you can move forward into the light that is to come once we're birthed into the new age. So they're the impressions I'm getting for our Capricornian friends. What about our Aquarius rising sun or moon friends? What's going on there? Well, Neptune is in the second house at Gandanta degrees of the second house, and this can indicate that there is a karmic knot with self-esteem issues that needs to be unraveled, that needs to be resolved. Worthiness issues may well be affecting your finances now, Aquarius. You at this stage of life, maybe you should have been earning X, Y, Z more than where you're at, but your Neptune here is saying there is some sort of karma there, feeling like you're not worthy, feeling like you don't deserve, and that needs to be unraveled and addressed if you are to flourish and blossom and go forward. It's time to confront those issues and take action to change them now. You might be afraid to ask for the money you deserve for the work that you do. This energy of Gandanta activation is going to help you ultimately, even though it's difficult and even though it's confronting, it's going to help you learn to appreciate yourself and assert or demand your worth, to not allow others to take advantage of you. It's just so important, Aquarius. Don't allow yourself to get bitter about these things that might have happened in the past where people did take advantage of you or didn't value you as you should have been valued. Visualize yourself with all the money that you need. Imagine you have all the financial success, appreciation, and value that you desire. Keep your hope and belief alive here now as you deal with the frustrations and the struggles, self-esteem, value, and so on. And then you might find that magic can happen for you in this realm once the karma is unraveled and dealt with. Your courage can help you manifest great financial success in the end. It can help you manifest strong self-love and build beautiful, refined circumstances for you to enjoy. So I just want to encourage you, deal with the karma. Don't sweep it under the rug. Don't deny it. Don't pull the wool over your own eyes about self-worth and self-value and how other people have taken advantage of you. This is, we attract to us what we put out, and if you don't feel you're valuable, you attract people who don't value you. So this is part of the karma, part of the karmic knot. If you've been deceived, if you've been taken advantage of, Neptune, you might have felt like you had to be a savior for everybody, for example, here. And you put a lot of your money and your resources and your time and effort into sort of upholding everybody else. And then, they didn't appreciate it. They didn't value you. They took advantage of you because you were the one who felt that you had to be the savior in a certain circumstance materially. And that needs to be unraveled. You need to address your karmic complexes, not point the finger at everyone else and blame everyone else and say, I'm a victim and poor me. Look at where your own self-worth and self-value has let you down and caused these things to happen. Look at your own savior complex in terms of resources and money and home and, cars and food and clothes and things like that. Sometimes, it can be very helpful to get a vision board for Aquarius people with Neptune here, because there can be a lack of clarity about what we really want in life, and we can also even get a bit too over the top. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't have big dreams. I'm a Pisces. Of course we should have big dreams. But living in a fantasy land, you know, maybe we live in an ordinary house in the suburbs, and yet in our head, you know, we think we're better than everybody else or something, when we're, you know, nobody's better than anybody else, but we're just an ordinary person with ordinary things, and yet we look down on everybody else or something. For example, this is living in an illusion, living in a fantasy land that we are better than what we actually are. And by saying that, please don't interpret me as saying people with a lot of stuff are better than those who don't have much stuff. But you know what I'm trying to imply here. People who think that they're God's gift when they are just like you and I. You know, this is what I'm referring to, not the amount of stuff. So it all comes back to self-worth, doesn't it? Either a lack of or too much of self-worth. And too much of is living in a fantasy land, an illusion about who you are and how valuable you are and the life that you live. And this could be a karmic reckoning that you're facing now, as you have to unravel this illusion of specialness, of uniqueness, of I'm so different to everyone else, I'm so better than everybody else, you know. So as I mentioned a moment ago, you might like to get a vision board and have, you know, some aspirational things on there, but things that you can achieve, so you don't always feel like, oh, that castle in Germany, that's the Disney castle based on, you know, I've got that on my vision board because I want to live in a castle one day. Well, is that really going to happen? Like, is that something that you are actually taking steps and strategies towards achieving? I mean, some people buy chateaus and, you know, live in them, but I'm trying to illustrate the point that, you know, it sometimes feels better if we've got an achievable vision board and we can tick off, right, I've bought my house, I've paid it out, I own it, the bank doesn't have a, you know, I don't owe the bank a cent, tick, there's my goal, my dream. Some people might say that's a fantasy these days too, but let's not go into that. You know, I'm not going to own the most expensive big Ferrari in the world, but I'm going to own my car, and it's going to be all that I need to take me touring across America. Tick, there it is. You know, achievable dreams that you can see accomplished. That's what you should fill your vision board with. Things that you can accomplish and achieve. Not saying don't aim high, not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, Neptune at Gandanta is saying you've got to unravel these materialistic fantasies that are keeping you from happiness, that are keeping you from fulfillment. You know, it's possible, and there's certain indications in a chart karmically that show resentment and frustration and projection coming through from a past life where we missed out on having the nice things and having the nice stuff. And sometimes we have that in our charts, showing when we haven't actually been poor, we haven't actually lacked for the comforts of life, but the problem was our aspirations were so over the top that we didn't appreciate what we had. And Neptune might be calling some of us who have that particular dynamic in our charts to unravel that karma now and start to look around at what we have and appreciate it and value it and see how beautiful what we actually have is before it's all unraveled, you know. So that's what I'm sensing into for our Aquarius friends. I hope that helps somebody out there. It might have been a bit disjointed on some levels. All right, Pisces. Pisces rising, Pisces sun, Pisces moon. Here we go, Pisces, in your first house. Most of you watching this will be very mature Pisces, I know. So having Neptune at Gandanta degrees will simply sensitize you and make you more sensitive to the things that are going on in the world. You'll pick up on the anger, you'll pick up on the emotion, you'll pick up on the struggle, you'll pick up on the beauty, you'll pick up on the artistry, you'll pick up on the love. So because we're so much more sensitized, Pisces, at this time when Neptune is at our ruling modern planet is at Gandanta degrees, it's good to practice balancing exercises like dancing, yoga, psychic practices, spiritualism, meditation, trance work, all of these things that help us sort of find our ability to breathe and not get overwhelmed. And I'm speaking to myself as much as anyone. I've had terrible anxiety and bouts of anger and so forth lately, and I'm like, who is this person in me? It is either that I'm tapping into other collective energies right now that are very anxious and angry, or there's something from my past, karmically, emotionally coming up that I didn't deal with properly in a past life, and the universe is saying, time to unravel that stuff, Kesenya. Lay that to rest so that you can build a better kingdom going forward in your life. The goal with Neptune at Gandanta in Pisces is actually to connect you to divine love. So it's going to do whatever it has to do to accomplish that. For many of us, it might be through confrontative energies like feeling angry, feeling anxious, and anxiety. I mean, those sorts of things, that there's nothing worse. Like everything can be glorious and beautiful all around you, but you're anxious and you're freaking out. It's the worst. So some people, there might be maybe mental struggles, emotional struggles. In order for you to address the karma, unravel the karma through meditation, through releasing practices and rituals, if you're into that sort of thing. For others, particularly high vibrational Pisces people, there might be the ability to transcend and have some deep higher realm experiences, some psychic experiences. But I think for most of us, there's going to be an essence of tapping into the stressed out, burnt out, frazzled energy that's on the planet right now, and we might be embodying that. It may be time to really, on behalf of the world, somehow transmute that and let that go. Things might feel a little bit out of hand. You might even, like it's possible, Pisces, some of you in the positive might experience magical events that seem like the divine hand of the divine is pulling the strings of your life. But yet it can also feel in some instances that things are totally out of control. So the advice is flow. Flow, Pisces, let it go. Allow yourself to feel whatever you are feeling. There's no point in fighting these heavy Gandanta karmic knot influences. You can let it take you where it needs to, and the manifestation can then be, and the healing that comes can be so much easier. You may well find, Pisces, that many of you are clearing things out of your life right now, getting rid of your unnecessary possessions, removing toxic people. This is healthy. This is a healthy way to deal with this karmic knot. Actively dissolving the boundaries that are keeping you from being able to be in unconditional love, manifesting the God energy that we want to experience, having the life we dream of. So if you are feeling like, I just don't want anything to do with that person, listen to that. That's a karmic knot unraveling now, Pisces. Let it go. You don't need to keep that person in your life. Do it graciously, of course, but let it go. You may not even realize it, Pisces, but there can be sort of deception by people, and you're not even aware that it's going on. There can be lack of clarity about life and where you're heading and where you're going. Just trust and flow as best you can. This is all part of the karmic knot. For Pisces, it's all about learning to trust your feelings, learning to let it flow through you, learning to trust that the universe is taking you where you need to go. This is part of the karmic unraveling. You don't have to control everything. You don't have to have all your ducks lined up. You just have to trust and flow right now with Neptune at Gandanta, Pisces. Be very conscious, Pisces, of wearing a mask, being fake. For many of you, that might be the karmic knot where you're pretending to be something that you're not, just to please another person, just to make them happy, just to keep the peace, Be very conscious of that. Address it if that comes up in your life. If you're living in a fantasy land about who you are and how life should be for you, that might come up as a karmic knot. If you're being a savior, if you're, having to carry everybody around you and support everybody around you, and you think you must do it because it's your karmic duty, and, you don't have to do that. This is a karmic knot for many Pisces people that they need to unravel, to realize, I don't have to save everybody around me. I can be supported too. The give and take of balance and harmony can be there present for me in my life. Some of you might have addictions, to all sorts of things. Could be alcohol, could be drugs, all those heavy things. But it could be addiction to chocolate. It could be addiction to watching shows on Netflix or something. And addictions might be your form of escapism that is your karmic knot. Maybe, Pisces, for many of you, it's time to face reality, confronting though it is, harsh though it is, difficult though it is, because it's only in doing so that the karmic knot can be unraveled. You can sort of break it down, cry if you need to, let it all go, so that then you can be built up going forward in these months and establish the kingdom you've come here on earth to build, Pisces. So there's energy going forward. I want to encourage you in that, my beautiful Pisces friends. Trust that the universe is taking you where it needs to go. Look for the miracles in every moment, because I believe miracles happen to us every day, and I believe that for many of us, miracles can be the result of this karmic cleansing, purging, unraveling of the karmic knot. Thank you, Pisces. Okay, Aries. Aries rising, Aries sun, Aries moon. Well, this karmic knot of Neptune at Gandanta degrees is occurring in the 12th house for you. So this might be providing you with a powerful opportunity to take action on something behind the scenes. This is the house of behind closed doors, things behind you that you aren't aware of. This might be a powerful opportunity for you to take action to unravel something that's been going on behind the scenes in your life, something hidden, and something that it will impact others in a subtle, subconscious way. If you can unravel that, if you can deal with it, if you can confront it now, bring it out into the light, then the karma is dissolved and no longer an issue. You might experience your energy, the energy of karma very actively, but also you might feel karmic knots unraveling in your dreams, because this is the house of sleep. And with Neptune at Gandanta degrees here, you might be fighting the good fight to dissolve and release your karma at night while you are sleeping. So you might be having very vivid dreams, erratic dreams. Trust that it's part of the process of letting go. You might be being some sort of a warrior in your dreams, perhaps. And maybe keep a dream journal. There's probably messages from the divine and omens within your dreams that will help you unravel the karma in everyday life, in day-to-day living. So pay attention to your dreams now. You can also actively protect your energy through prayer, meditation, surrounding yourself with angelic and divine energy, maybe doing the protection ritual that's for free, available for download on my YouTube, on my YouTube channel, my website. These actions are going to benefit you greatly, Aries, to undertake these things, because this is a house that speaks of the veils being very thin between ourselves and the divine realm. So there may very well be need to protect yourself energetically, and I'd encourage you to do so. Visualize yourself with spiritual weaponry to fight evil energies in the universe that are unfolding and trying to bring us down at this time. You, Aries, above all other signs, can actually successfully fight a spiritual battle for humanity at the moment by perhaps undertaking the protection ritual to protect all humans, not just yourself, but all good-hearted, rightly aligned, high vibrational souls that are incarnate on the planet now. So I'd encourage you, please be the warrior that you're born to be, Aries, and do so. Some of you may need a retreat. Some of you might need to take a break from ordinary reality, and you should do so if you feel like it. You know, even if it's just an afternoon off work, or going for a swim or a walk, or doing some yoga, creating something, anything that is step out of the ordinary to help you restore balance and harmony within. And in doing so, things can come up in your conscious about your karmic knots that you're dealing with. You can find space to breathe through these karmic energies that are unfolding right now. I would suggest that with this placement of Neptune at Gandanta degrees, that there is likely to be some pretty heavy-duty secrets unfolding. And this is the karma to address those either secrets that you're carrying, or anything that you have a sense of, oh, hang on, I think there's something going on behind the scenes here. Address it. Maybe it's your boss, maybe it's a work colleague, maybe it's a family member. But don't sweep it under the rug. Go and approach and say, hey, I'm getting a sense that this is what's happening here. Could you just clarify this for me and, give me some information about what's really going on, please? Look for clarity, because it's in doing so, clarity will help unravel the karmic knot that might be present regarding secrets and things that are hidden from you. You won't know about them, you'll have a sense of them, is what I'm saying. You'll just get a feeling or an inner knowing. Trust that. what else can I say here? Like Pisces in the 12th house is very standard kind of Pisces energy. Secrets, imposters, charlatans. There might be people sort of doing the dirty on you in some way. And it really, the only way to deal with it karmically is to confront it, address it, and breathe through it, process it, and let it go. So wherever you need to do that, make sure you take steps in that regard, Aries. This is, yeah, it's very, for Aries people, is very much connected to past life experiences, more so than this life. So it's hard to know what those things are. There's a real lack of clarity around that. We come into this body with our memory wiped, so to speak, of the past life experiences. So having clarity there is very difficult to achieve. But trust your instincts, trust your gut, trust your inner knowing, and trust the omens and signs and signals that you receive, the dreams, because that's where the messages will come through about how to unravel any karmic difficulties. Thank you, Aries. Taurus, Taurus rising, Taurus sun, Taurus moon people. Well, the energy of Neptune at Gandanta degrees is falling at the final degree of your 11th house in whole sign astrology. And with this position and all, Neptune at final degrees of Pisces positions, sorry, I went off on a tangent there. What this is saying is your friends can be very loving and generous and supportive at this time. So if you need to lean on someone, do so. The 11th house represents the benefactors in our life, our friends and our social circles, and with Neptune at Gandanta degrees, the universe can support you and bless you in unraveling the karmic knots through these people and the support they give you. And if you've been giving to other people unconditionally, Neptune can allow unconditional love to flow back to you. So a beautiful energy now if you've been keeping your karma clean. What else can I say about this? You will need to cultivate an attitude of forgiveness and having no expectations of friends. Let them be who they are meant to be. Don't try and control them. Don't try and force them to be what you think they should be. Let go and keep believing that people are good at heart no matter what, because it's in doing so that we invite the blessing of the universe. And there may be some difficult karma with friends that needs unraveling. Bad experiences you had with friends, maybe growing up or in past weeks, months, years, that need to be addressed and resolved and unraveled. Even past life issues around being able to be a good friend and being able to support other people friendship-wise might come up now that need to be unraveled as well. There is a tendency when Pisces is in the 11th house just to avoid confrontation at all and be somewhat naive regarding our friendships. We need to overcome this, Taurus. We need to put on our big boy, big girl boots and deal with things, deal with issues rather than sweeping them under the carpet. Now also this is also a position that tells us about our dreams and wishes, and with Neptune here, we can have super duper dreams and goals and wishes. One thing I would suggest though is it's good to aim high, but aim for what's achievable, because the one thing Neptune can do is take it too far, where you think that you've got to have 10 properties all over the world, and then you end up disappointed and disillusioned because it didn't happen for you. You don't have that mansion in the Riviera and St. Moritz and Ibiza, and you're just like an everyday ordinary person. Maybe you've got a beach house somewhere, and that's fantastic, but because you've expected way over that, you're disappointed and you're frustrated and sad. So there's this tendency, I would say a karmic knot here that needs to be unraveled, of overdoing it with dreams and wishes. The karmic knot might be being unraveled here now is the need to ground yourself in reality and be grateful for what you have got and the dreams that have come true, without always looking at the grass is always greener on the other side. So dream, yes, aspire to the beautiful life that you could have, go for it, but don't get disillusioned by what isn't. Make sure you have take the time in the moment to look at what is and be grateful for how far you come to. One thing that Neptune at Gandanta degrees here can indicate is that you might have very utopic dreams for establishing communities where people are connected and empowered, living in harmony with one another and with the land and with nature. And this is really good if you can tap into this. You know, it's possible you've been part of this sort of culture in a past life before, and you might aspire to do that again. There might be some karmic issues around that sort of group work. You know, maybe it didn't go quite right in a past life, and there might be fear of that happening, but ultimately it's something really worth achieving. So there might be some issues around fear of taking action on that topic, you know, trying to establish a utopic community or a connected farm network or something like that. If there are fears around taking action on that, if you procrastinate, if you hold yourself back in any way from doing that, even though you really love the idea, then that might be the karmic knot that needs unraveling in order for you to go forward into a more beautiful future. So if you are drawn to those sort of utopic communities, but you have a hesitation around fear in some way, explore that. Do some writing about that, some journaling, explore that topic, because that could be where the karmic knot lies with this position. You might also feel like you have to save everybody, like you've got to come in and, I know I used to feel like this. I'm not a Taurus person, but I used to feel like this. I lived in this wonderful little community with so many individual healers, yoga therapists, organic farm producers, cooks and chefs who love working with organic produce and what have you, kinesiologists. I was an astrologer, and I was like, we should develop a community where we, support one another, build one another up. Maybe we could have an establishment that incorporates the health practitioners and so forth, and an organic vegetable grocer store and whatever. And I had this fantastic dream, and everybody else was like, yeah, we'll be in on it with it. That sounds great. Let's do that. But you do it, Kesenya. And I was like, oh, well, if it's going to happen, it's up to me. I have to be the one to make it happen. And so I did feel for a time like I had to be the one to establish things. And part of that is the savior complex, like I've got to be the one to do the right thing in the world. No, Taurus, if you're feeling that way, like it's all on you and that you are the one responsible and that you must carry and lift up everybody else around you, no. This is the realm of the chart that's about the group, making effort together, not about you being a savior. So there might be some karmic complexes that need unraveling if you have any savior complex. And I've used an illustration of sort of organic and holistic lifestyling, but it could actually be any realm of life. You might feel like you've got to be the savior with all your mates, all your friends, and stop them from being stupid. Well, no, they have to live their life and follow their karma and follow their destiny. You don't have to be the savior. And there could be definitely some karmic knots around thinking that you've got to rescue and save everybody in your world, in your group, in some way. You might need to explore some of those sorts of things. With Neptune at the Gandanta degrees of your 11th house, you might experience sort of a desire to join a utopian society. And, there's nothing wrong with that. This is something that maybe needs to happen in the world we're living in. Just make sure that you address any karmic fears and issues and worries before going down that, and also address any fantasies you've got about what it'll be like to live in such a society, any illusions that you've got, because it's not all sunshine and roses and happy times. There's cold winter mornings when you've got to get out and weed the veggie garden and stuff like that. Like it's like everything, there's reality and there's fantasy. So make sure you address those things, because there could be some karmic knots around that as well. Friends might be keeping secrets. Friends might be posing. Friends might actually be charlatans and not friends at all. These can trigger Gandanta experiences that need to be unraveled. So the best way to deal with things is to confront any concerns or issues in a gracious, loving way. So that's what I'll touch on for our Taurus friends. All right, moving on to Gemini. Gemini rising, Gemini sun, Gemini moon people. The energy of Neptune at Gandanta degrees, which can be being felt now and also into the future. for the next few months, and even in some cases for a couple of years, while Neptune transits Gandanta degrees, is being felt in the 10th house here. And so what is this all about, Gemini? Well, it's about Neptune here is we need to take action now to alleviate confusion with regard to our career. So what action do we need to take? We need to open our hearts, go with the flow, remain receptive, perhaps explore new opportunities wherever the universe leads. Follow your heart, listen to your intuition, and trust it. Because one of the Gandanta expressions of Neptune is a confusion, like a lack of clarity. I thought I wanted to be a fashion designer, but I got into it and it wasn't what I really thought, and now I don't know what to do. So my suggestion to unravel this karmic knot is look for open doors and try them. And if the door doesn't let you in, then try another one. Keep your heart open, go with the flow, don't be closed-minded, be expansive and open-minded, and follow where the universe leads, career-wise, because Neptune at Gandanta degrees wants you to unravel your fears around career, reputation, leadership, and it wants you to try new things so that you can later rest the old karma. Maybe you were a fashion designer in a past life and it didn't work out, and so now in this life you've got this like, oh my God, I've got to make this work, because you don't know it, but maybe in a past life it failed. You're a milliner or something like that, and your business went under. And now you've got this desperation. Well, this is Gandanta energy. There needs to be an ability to flow with Neptune in Gandanta degrees here. And the Neptune's trying to teach you to flow with career and trust where the universe takes you so that you can build a better life for yourself ultimately. But the good news is that Neptune at these degrees gives us a time for inspiration and creativity and going with the flow. So, the capacity is there. You just got to trust it and unravel the restrictions and the fears and the blockages that might exist. Trust the omens, trust the signals that indicate the right path for you. And all it requires is being open and aware, and trying things. If you feel like, I'll give that a go and it doesn't work out, then don't get too down. Try something else. Flowing. Act on inspiration. Sometimes it's a good idea in this house of authority figures and mentors. It's a good idea to get a mentor to assist you in giving some structure and making sure you achieve your worth and don't get taken for a ride. Don't get sort of deceived or duped into a role where you aren't being valued, you aren't getting remunerated properly, and so on. So do check in with authority figures and people that you respect to help you make choices and decisions right now, because part of the karma can be that you don't have the clarity of mind that you might otherwise desire. Neptune at Gandanta can indicate ebbs and flows of passion with career and career ideas. So, one day you just, yes, I'm going to do this fashion design and and the next day you're like, oh, everybody seems to think this is a bad idea and that I shouldn't be doing it and they don't like my fashion, but I love what I do. Should I keep going? Shouldn't I? Neptune does encourage us to keep our vision and dream alive, knowing that in the long term it will flourish and blossom for us. But I would suggest that with Neptune at Gandanta, there might be some issues around doing so. For example, you're listening too much to what other people think and not trusting your own desires, your own drive. Somebody's saying, that your t-shirts you design, they look like shit or whatever, and you should give up, and you're like, but I love them, and so maybe the wisdom here is to find a new way. Maybe it's a side hustle and not a full-time business. Often careers, purpose, meaning, and destiny come in the form of something on the side while we make money to survive in the earthly reality. So just because it's 10th house doesn't mean that it's going to make you a fortune. Sometimes we need to do a bit of both, a side hustle and an everyday job that pays the bills. So, I'm not saying ever give up on your vision and your dream. Hold close to your vision and dream. Keep going with it, no matter how much people poo-poo your ideas and your dreams and your goals. But I would suggest that be realistic too, because one of the Gandanta knots is not being realistic, living in an illusionary fantasy land. So maybe in some instances there might be a need, Gemini, to be realistic. To be realistic and say, okay, well, this t-shirt business I've got going, I love it. Everyone's telling me it looks like shit. Who'd tell you that? I mean, obviously you've got some asshole friends if that's what's going on. But, you know, everyone's saying, oh, no, they're not really any good. And you're like, well, I believe in myself. So I'm going to put it on as an internet business online. I'll do it in the evenings. And I'm going to have my day job, you know, making coffees for people at the local coffee shop or whatever. So this is what we mean by going with the flow, keeping your dream alive, not giving up on it, but unraveling this dependence on people, for example, people's opinion, unraveling a lack of belief in yourself, unraveling the karmic knot of always feeling like you're a failure. All these things are part of the karma, for example, to be unraveled, so that you can keep going and see your dream flourish. I would suggest that while Neptune's at Gandanta degrees, don't take chances with authority figures or governments. Be the highest moral manifestation that you can possibly be. This is a house of authority figures, so don't try to deceive. Don't try to pull the wool over their eyes. Don't be, you know, lacking in clarity. Sorry about the noise. I've got people repairing my gas heater here. Keep everything clear. No secrets, no schemes behind closed doors, because that is actually Neptune karma and karmic knots as well. If you're deceiving authority figures, if you're got some backdoor deals going on, that's the karma that's not going to serve you. You know, it will come undone. And this Gandanta Neptune is all about revealing that and causing that to unravel. Now, if you're in a creative career that's very Neptunian, maybe in some sort of spiritual or mystical profession, maybe you're a farmer, charity worker, maybe you're in marketing or advertising, maybe you're a singer or an actor or a dancer, this energy can be very energizing for you. Neptune at the final degrees. In fact, you can get some of your highest inspiration while Neptune is moving through Gandanta. And the other thing I would suggest is if there's been any cloudy issues with bosses or authority figures, it's time to lay the cards on the table and clear the air around that and unravel the karma around those things. So some of you may need to address something with a boss and clear the air. It's healthy to do so. Do it graciously and humbly, and you can't go wrong. Thank you, Gemini. Cancer. Cancer rising, Cancer sun, or Cancer moon, people. Well, the energy of Neptune at the final Gandanta degrees of Pisces is actually unfolding in your 9th house. And you know something? At this highly activating Gandanta degree, and if you want to know what a Gandanta degree is, you need to watch the introduction. I'm not going to go through it for each sign because it's all there in the intro, my friends. Gandanta degrees with Neptune in the 9th house means that through the power of your belief, miracles can happen, but only once you've resolved karma about belief. If you believe that you have the power to create life on your terms and create the kingdom that you want, you can make it happen. But maybe there's a need to unfold some very unsupportive beliefs around that idea first. So believe, take action to support your belief, and you could very well be surprised at the outcome now. Miracles are associated with Neptune, but at Gandanta degrees there's karma around the manifestation of a miracle that needs to be unraveled first. This is a time, while Neptune moves across this realm of the chart, these Gandanta degrees, for being quite independent in your beliefs. You know, this is not about giving power away to somebody else who comes in as the savior. You know, oh, they'll be my guru and I'll you know, do whatever they say. This is not a time for being swayed by others' opinions. If you want to get the best out of this energy, you need to trust in your own divinity. And this is where the karmic knot might actually lie here. because so often, especially over the last 2,000 years of human history, we've been told that we don't have the divinity, we don't have the power within us. We have to go to a priest, or we have to believe in a guru, or we have to join some certain ashram. Like, this is giving our power away and even rejecting our own divine nature. So this Neptune here, if you've got that tendency in you, I dated a guy once, and he had come from a Catholic background, and he had rejected, when I met him, he'd rejected his Catholicism, but just simply transferred it to Buddhism. A lot of Catholics actually do that. They get out of the Catholic system only to get involved in the Buddhist system. I'm not saying either is wrong or right or whatever, but some people are just so aligned to have a religious experience that they're always looking to put their religious trust in something else outside of them, not realizing that they are their own divinity. And so I feel Neptune at Gandanta degrees is saying you've got to deal with your karma around religious association and the desperation to have religion in some shape or form. The truth is, and you know, I'm not trying to poo-poo religion or say your religious beliefs are bullshit. What I am saying is we are all here on the earth, the divine, having an earthly experience. And when we recognize that, we realize that no one else is above us. No one else is more special than us. No one way of thinking is the right way. And that's probably going to rub a lot of people watching this the wrong way. I don't apologize for that. That is the truth that so many ancient shamanic cultures knew, and it's only in the last 2,000 or so years that humanity has aligned with this other deception. We've been in the age of Pisces. Pisces is shadow side deception, that we have to give our power away spiritually to other structures or other humans, not trusting in our own divinity. So my prayer for you Cancer people is that you see where you fall into that trap of doing so and can break free, because my God, get your power back. It is incredible to realize your own divinity, your own power. So yes, certainly lots of karma around religion that needs to be unraveled, around spiritual beliefs. Spirituality can come in stronger than ever now, but it's wisdom and spirituality from the divine, Cancer, not from a religious structure. We act now from more virtuous motivations. We can also benefit from foreigners now and foreign travels. Some of you might even be drawn to a place where you had karma in a past life, where you need to just be in that energy and let it go from a past life. So if you're doing some traveling, just know, while Neptune's at Gandanta degrees, there can be some seriously karmic journeys, and you might feel like, hang on, I've been here before, you know. And high vibrational learning can really be initiated by this karmic unraveling process. So tapping into higher wisdom, tapping into higher knowledge. Some people might even feel a little bit restless under this Neptunian influence, Cancer. A restless longing to travel to exotic places or get involved with more utopic belief systems. Neptune at Gandanta degrees kind of activates that even more. Some people, yeah, there might be some fears around traveling even for some people. Maybe that's coming from the previous few years of COVID restrictions and blockages. Maybe it's coming from a past life where maybe you went on a voyage and the ship went down or something like that. If you feel any hesitation, about flying, about travel, then there is a call here, I feel, with Neptune at Gandanta degrees to address those things, unravel those things, and let them go, dissolve them and release them out to God. Alrighty, thank you, Cancer. Now to Leo rising, Leo sun, Leo moon people. Okay, we have Neptune at the Gandanta degree of the 8th house. And if you don't know what a Gandanta degree is, check out the intro to this little astrology weather report, because I go into detail about what its effects are. But for Leo, it's happening in the 8th house. Now, this is an extremely psychic and spiritual position, and sort of astral or paranormal experiences might come very easily while Neptune's at these Gandanta degrees. But we need to be very careful, Leo, because predatory influences can come into our life when the veils are thin and open in that way. More negative occult energies. Again, I will just reference you to the protection ceremony that I have on my landing page of the website. Check it out. It's free. Do the ceremony. Put protections in place if you need to. Using protective techniques is very important. You know, and it need not be that you go through a whole ritual or ceremony, but prayer, visualization, surrounding yourself visually in your mind with angelic or divine presence are great strategies for going forward. This is a house of crisis, and it is a very psychological and psychic house. So being, you know, protective in that realm is a really good move when Neptune is at the Gandanta degrees. It's all about endings and letting go and releasing, so that you can be born into something new, collectively and individually. Now, you might be called now to courageously address issues with maybe inheritances or succession planning, which are 8th house issues. And indeed, you know, there might be some karmic knots to be unraveled there. You might have karma with somebody who, you know, maybe your father, you know, wants to leave you a legacy or something, but there's some karma there that needs to be resolved. Do so. Don't deny things. Don't sweep things under the rug. So if you're addressing issues with succession planning and inheritances, people are going to be less likely to be offended by your request and appreciate an upfront approach now, because the purpose is to resolve unresolved karma, karmic knots, as I said. Some people might find a positive, yet even like a hidden surprise regarding partners' finances, for better or worse here. Remember, the Gandanta knot has to do with deception and secrets, and this is in the house of partners' resources. So that can be the case. You know, there might be a karmic knot that needs to be unraveled between you and your partner regarding resources at this time, secrets that might be there. You might be keeping secrets from a partner regarding resources. They might be keeping a secret from you. I'm not saying everybody who is a Leo energy is experiencing this, not at all, but that it can be one of the karmic complexes. Another way that it can manifest is that you are suspicious of the partner and their resources and their use of money all the time unnecessarily, and that's something that you might need to address within you, you know, to sort of resolve within you an issue of lack of trust that could be present. So the karma is yours, my beautiful Leo friends. The karma is yours to resolve now, but it may have something to do with your ability to trust other people, or maybe you were deceived in a past life, and therefore there's this karma there around trusting, and that might need to be addressed. A past life regression might help, or doing some meditation, or doing some journaling might help you resolve or come to an understanding of maybe a lack of trust within you. That can also be one of the manifestations of this. Conspiracy theories that challenge our understanding might actually come up as well. Now, I'll say it plainly, I'm totally a conspiracy theorist. If being a conspiracy theorist means I question things that don't make sense, things that don't add up in the official narrative, absolutely I'm a conspiracy theorist. So some of you may wish to unsubscribe from me saying that, but that's my karma perhaps, as a Leo. But the 8th house has to do with conspiracy theories, and it's so interesting to my mind. All my friends who are heavily into conspiracy theories all have 8th house planets. There is just no exception to that rule that I've observed. So here we are with Neptune at Gandanta degrees in the 8th house. There is maybe a need to find the truth and unravel what is truth around the conspiracy theories, because there's many and varied, and some of them are absolute bullshit. So there might be, for some of us, Leo people, a need to really unravel what truth is concerning the various conspiracy theories or secret understandings, hidden mysteries as well, not just conspiracy theories, but hidden mysteries, things like occult beliefs and occult practices. What is the truth around those? Is there a lack of clarity there? Are things cloudy about certain elements of the, astrology, psychic phenomenon, astral travel, and so forth? We can be looking for clarity and finding clarity there, but that can be our karmic knot. Some of us, I'm not saying everybody, but some of us might have been deceived by a conspiracy theory, and I could name at least two that come to my mind that I have seen good people be deceived by, at least two particular theories that are predominant in the world right now that are utterly ridiculous. That's my opinion though, maybe I've fallen prey to some conspiracy theories in the past. None are coming to my mind that haven't proven themselves to be true, but I'm not saying I'm any better than anyone else and any more or less able to be deceived. But there may be a need to sort through a conspiracy theory and find the truth, get rid of the cloudiness and lack of clarity around some sort of theory that needs more heavy research or deeper understanding or more balanced viewpoints, So that can be present for many Leos as part of the karmic knot that must be untangled. There is, in the positive Leo, an exceptional opportunity to experience divine bliss through sex. It's not just about body connection, but connection of the soul now. And if you're afraid of truly letting go, truly feeling that bliss of connection in its purest form, if that is an issue, if you've got hang-ups around sex, this could be karmic, maybe past life experiences of horror in that regard, or violence or abuse in that regard, that the universe is calling you to unravel and resolve, to karmically address. So I would suggest, if you're having any of those sorts of issues, a good therapist might be a good start, a good counselor, somebody you trust who you can open up to about those sorts of things. And maybe you've got secrets around your sexual experiences that you've carried your whole life. Neptune is secrets. Here at the Gandanta degree, these secrets might be just getting too much to bear now. They might need to be resolved and unraveled and dealt with after carrying them for a lifetime perhaps. Don't neglect to do that. This is an opportunity given to you by the divine to heal the soul from any of those heavy-duty wounds that sexual abuse brings about. My heart goes out to you, my love to you, if you're dealing with some of those difficult things right now. But this energy in the universe is here to support you, to help you find the solution, unravel the karma, and leave it behind. Let it go, wash down the drain, never to come back again, so that you can be free. You can be fully, totally free in your sex life and as a sexual being. So that's really what I'm feeling into for a lot of our Leo friends. Obviously not everything's going to apply to everyone, but I share many of the facets of how this might express in the hope that it might bring clarity. All right, and now Virgo rising, Virgo sun, Virgo moon. Thank you for sticking with me to the end, Virgo. And here we are with Neptune in the 7th house at Gandanta degrees. If you don't know what a Gandanta degree is, check it out in the intro to this piece. This is going to be active for the coming weeks, months, even years, as Neptune crosses Gandanta degrees. Currently it's at the 29th degree of Pisces. There are other Gandanta degrees in this area of the chart as well. But let me speak to this one for the moment. Neptune at the 7th house. Neptune is, and you'll hear in the introduction, I talk about Neptune being illusions and deceptions, and some of you might be seeing relationships through rose-colored glasses at the time. At this time, you might be sexually attracted to partners that you might idolize, and you might sort of be willing to give up everything for those partners. It might sound like fun and romance and soulmate stuff, but just be careful, because there's a lot of karma while Neptune is at the final degrees of a sign. Not just any sign, of this sign, Pisces, that is Gandanta, a karmic knot that needs unraveling. The partners you meet could be karmic. The attitudes you've got to relationship might need to be addressed, because there could be hangovers from past lives that have mucked you up and tightened you up inside. Something that needs to be unraveled and broken and released. We can't be in a state of permanent bliss and fantasy in relationships. You might dream of this, you might expect this with the current relationship that you're in, or if the ideal Disney fantasy relationship that you're longing for. But there is this illusionary capacity that Neptune at the Gandanta degrees represents that needs to be resolved now. Come down to earth, be in reality, put your big girl boots and your big boy boots on about what relationships look like in the earth realm. In the divine realm, they are blissful. We do have connection that is eternal, like an eternity of joy. But in the earth realm, we've got struggle, we've got challenge, we've got difficulty, we've got personalities, we've got clashes of energy. It's not always a walk in the park. And the more that we can be realistic about that, the more we can address those things. Address our hang-ups with relationships. Address our inadequacies and our flaws and our faults with great humility and make our relationships better. But you've got to be realistic about them first for that to happen. People taking advantage of you is another karmic knot that can exist in the seventh house. So allowing partners, clients, business partners to take advantage of us can be karma coming back to revisit us for some reason. And we need to have the courage and the willpower to stand up to such circumstances if that is what's occurring. Do it graciously, do it with compassion, knowing that people are dealing with their own karma, but you mustn't let it pass you by. You mustn't sweep it under the carpet if you want to resolve this karma and go forward to build a beautiful life relationally in all facets of all areas of relationships in the future. Any relationships where you're being the savior for another person need to be dealt with clearly now too. This Neptune at Gandanta degrees might show you with clarity for the first time where you're giving yourself away. Have compassion on yourself if that's the case. Realize that you are capable of tremendous compassion because you've been that savior, but being an enabler, having a savior complex is not healthy for you or for the person who's receiving that, who's mooching off you, who is, using you as their crutch and their savior. We need to be aware of the weaknesses of our partners, but be realistic about their ability to be healed, to be saved, to be changed. This is a karmic knot. You might be with somebody who is an alcoholic and you've been with them before in past lives and they've mooched off you before, they've taken advantage of you before, and this is your chance. This is your karmic reckoning, Neptune at the Gandanta degrees, that's giving you the chance to make it different this time, to resolve this, to lay this to rest and undo this karma that keeps popping up. We need to take action about that. We need to say, the alcohol goes or I go. Which are you going to choose? Next time it happens, you leave. Or they leave. They get kicked out. Whatever. We need to realize that the action that we take is to resolve a karmic situation. And you need to, if you are being a savior, that needs to end. If you've got this enabling savior complex, it's got to come to a conclusion or the karma will just repeat and repeat and repeat. Let me just say, Gandanta Neptune is actually not going to let you get away with this. And if you don't deal with it now, while Neptune is here, heaven help you when Neptune and Saturn conjunct at Gandanta degrees and the hard taskmaster comes into play. Better to deal with it now while Neptune crosses Gandanta degrees than when Saturn joins Neptune, believe me. So you need to be a bit tough. You need to be a bit hard-headed. You need to be resolved to deal with things, knowing that it's actually for the greatest healing and the greatest good for both of you. There might be a need for some of you to dissolve contracts with romantic partners or even business partners. This can be a good energy to negotiate that. You might be able to walk away with your pride and dignity intact and maybe with a winning hand. While Neptune is at Gandanta, the karma can conclude. The karma can be unraveled. Keep your compassion, keep your grace, but don't give yourself away is all I'll say right now. But certainly the universe is going to be showing to you where you have a savior complex, where you give yourself away, where you're living in a fantasy land about relationships and partnerships. This is where the karma is going to be dealt with. Not just now, but in the coming days, weeks, months, and years ahead. as we have this crossing of Gandanta. So my friends, thank you for sticking with me to the end. I know it's been a big video, but thank you for being here. I pray this video is a blessing to you as you are a blessing to me. I'll see you next week with another Astro Weather Report.